Welcome back to another episode of Badman Reviews. And today, we're going to be taking a look at Crash Bandicoot fan games. Yeah, I know, we just talked about them, but we talked about 3D fan games. And today, I'm going to be diving into some awesome 2D fan games. And I have some really cool stuff to show you. But first, if you like fan games, why don't you head on down below and hit that subscribe button, because about only 20% of you are actually subscribed, so, you know, it might help out. Anyways, let's start getting right into the gist of things here. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitch, as I stream there very regularly, and I even stream all of the fan games I play over there. So if you're interested in watching my first impressions on them, you can head on over there and hit the follow button, and you'll get to know whenever I'm live streaming Crash fan games or whatever else I'm doing.
First up, we have Crash Bandicoot Reloaded. This 2D game was really fun. Starting off in this warp room type area here, you can select whichever level you like. This game is pretty spot on with the classic Crash games, where each level has a crystal to pick up and a gem if you break every box. But on top of that, you can also get colored gems that open bonus areas, death platforms for getting to them without dying, and bonus rooms. Everything you need for an awesome Crash game.
But they take it one step further.
'Cause we get boss battles too. Sadly, this is as far as I got in my playthrough though, because after I beat the boss, my game crashed, and I hadn't saved it because I'm a big old dummy. So if you want to see more of what this game has to offer, go ahead and download it yourself and give it a try. It's pretty awesome. The next game on the list plays pretty similar to the last. It feels like it's been made by the same person, but I can't seem to find anything that would link the two games together. This one also has a warp room like Crash 2, where you can switch between the multiple warp rooms, and even has controller support, unlike the other games on this list. This game includes the elementals from Wrath of Cortex as bosses, and has special collectible masks to get in each level, along with power crystals and gems. The power crystals are a bit different in this game though, only being rewarded from death route completions. It controls pretty well, just like the last game, but includes controller support, as I mentioned before, which makes this so much better. Nothing beats controller support.
Next on the list, we have something a little bit different. This Crash game specifically looks a lot different than everything else we've looked at today. More specifically, it looks a lot like your old school classic Game Boy games.
This is Crash Bandicoot 2D, a game that looks pretty cool, but sadly plays very badly. The controls are really slippery, and it has you sliding all over the place. Never mind the fact that the hitboxes on enemies are pretty unforgiving at times, making it really hard to get past them. Just imagine everything feels like super ice, and you need to make these jumps. It's a pain.
And you know what you get as a reward after completing all of that really hard platforming?
Nothing. There isn't even an end to the level. You just get here, and there's nothing. I had to Alt F4 to get out of the game actually at this point, which is a little disappointing for all the work I put in to get myself here. Next is Crash Bandicoot Roboticized. This game has its own interesting look to it and controls a bit wonky, but it's the only game on this list that actually went out of its way to make a relic version for each level. So after you beat a level, you can replay it in a time trial version with boxes that pause and everything. It's pretty sweet. This one may not look as nice as some of the other stuff on this list, but you can tell there was some great time and effort put into making it, and I loved playing it myself, so I thought I would share it with all of you. Crash Bandicoot Psyched Out is the weirdest game out of all of them that I'm going to be talking about today, sporting the most unique gameplay out of all of the Crash games I've played. The story has Entrance as the main enemy, since he's brain-controlled everyone in the world except Crash, Cortex, and Aku Aku, as they were immune to it. And guess what? You actually get help from Cortex as he guides you through each level. Some levels you can jump on his head to get to higher places, and in one instance you actually use him like a snowboard to get to the next level. There also isn't gems or power crystals in the normal sense. You just collect colored gems, and there are multiple in every level to find. And the biggest surprise is, once you get far enough into the game, you unlock an open hub area where you can go to past levels or hop on over to the next level. It's pretty cool. I really like this game for how different it is.
Last on our list, but very certainly not least, is Crash Bandicoot. But it's Undertale.
Yeah, so we have this cool Undertale / Crash Bandicoot experience here that gives you 2 bosses to fight. The first is against Engine, and you can fight him or eventually spare him after you dodge enough of his attacks to learn that he doesn't really want to kill you. He just wants to live his own life and not be bothered. The second boss is actually just a demo, so there isn't much to it, but it has you fight Dingo Tile. The voice lines that pop up for this are the same as Engine, but he does have his own moves to dodge and learn. At least, a few. After a few moves, the game soft locks and Dingo stops doing anything and basically beats you Sans style, but doesn't fall asleep like a noob.
Well, like always, remember that all of these games are linked down below for you to check out and play for yourselves. And while you're down there, why don't you feel free to hit the subscribe button and the like button, and just leave a comment on what other fan games you'd like me to look at. Any suggestions you have for other content is always recommended. I love looking at it all, and I love responding to all the comments down below. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next episode.